I'm Mark Herbst, co-chair of the Joint Railroad Committee, and this meeting, the Long Island Railroad has the lead. And at this time, can we have this morning's speakers, this afternoon's speakers? It's afternoon already.
Good afternoon. This afternoon, we have 8 members of the public registered to speak. I would like to remind all members of the public registered to speak to abide by MTA's rules of decorum. We ask that all speakers stay within the 2 minutes. There will be a beep at 30 seconds to warn speakers of how much time they have remaining. We also remind speakers to address all comments through the chair and that personal attacks are not allowed. This morning we'll begin with our public speaking with Murray Bowden, followed by Iris Kelly.
It's what happens when you get old. You can't move around as well as you used to, and you lose your voice. What happened this week in Iran, where they dropped 12 bombs to take out the atomic bombs that they were building. We talked about it for years and years and years, and so they said, just do it. A lesson for us, for you. I'm finished. Responsibility is this committee. I've been talking about duplicate red traffic crossing lights and traffic lights in the Metro North, Danbury, other places. Confusing to drivers. Drivers are distracted. Why don't you have just traffic lights and get rid of the old ones? You didn't do it. If the current management of Metro North can't do it, replace them immediately. This is a safety issue. It's money. Why is it taking this long and it didn't? We talked about getting rid of the bombs in Iran years and years and years. He just did it. And for the Long Island Railroad, they like the gate. They like the flashing red lights. They don't want to put in traffic lights. I know. I met with your team. We always did it this way. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it is kills people, and it costs money. If they don't convert to traffic lights, find somebody who will do it. It's time.
Please conclude your remarks.
I just did.
Thank you for your remarks. Is Iris in the room? I've been advised that Iris Kelly is not logged into Zoom. Our next speaker is Charlton D'Souza, followed by Brian Frist. Apologies, Chair. It seems we're having some delays with our Zoom participants. Our next speaker will be Brian Frist from PCAC.
Good morning. I'm Brian Fritsch, Associate Director for the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, PCAC. Congratulations to both railroads on continued record-breaking on-time performance numbers and ridership counts. Year-to-date ridership increases of 10% for LIRR and 6% for Metro North over 2024 are huge steps in the right directions. Even if serving more customers is pushing both railroads a little over budget, it's a very good problem to have. What is less inspiring is seeing the railroads doing away with the MTA Away program with little notice right at the start of the summer, especially without a replacement already in place, although we are happy to hear that a new program is on its way for next year. To make the program even better in the future, incentivize transit usage, and bring new riders on board, we strongly urge you to make new packages available on train time and consider offering trips that cross-connect with the other railroad and NYCT. The demise of MTA Way underscores an unfortunate trend more generally around the MTA, especially with the MetroCard being phased out for Omni. Fewer fare options and features for riders, at least in the short term while the changeover is in progress. The initial promise of Omni was, and should still be, a more integrated and seamless system between the MTA service network and beyond, yet today we've seen things become more fractured. PCAC recently launched an Omni survey taken by users across the MTA region with clear early results. Riders want to travel between transit and the railroads on one fare with one card or app. They, and we, want to see additional features like a weekly city ticket with free transfers to subway and buses in order to use the fastest mode of travel available, regardless of cost, to help whittle down commute times in the most burdened metro region in the country. Omni is a major change for every rider in the MTA region. Let's make the transition as smooth and painless as most of the rides have been on the railroads lately. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Andy Pollock, followed by Christopher D. Greif. We'll return to our online speakers later. Our next speaker will be Christopher D. Greif.
And I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christopher D. Greif. As I'm going to say again and again, as you know, next month is Disability Pride Month, 10th year, ADA 35. As we've been accomplishing a lot between the railroads, we have seen a lot more accessibility, signages, updating our railroads very much. But as I said before, we can still continue doing it. Working together, making sure that Disability Pride Month does encourage a lot of our seniors and people with disabilities and our veterans that to always remember the railroads are safe there and always staying way behind the yellow lines. And we do continue doing that as well and continuing advocating to make clear to upstate to know Albany, state senators, assemblymen, and yes, our Congress in Washington that hear us very clearly. Accessibility needs to make sure mandating the elevators, ramps, lighting, and the alert button to let them know there is an accessible customer in position at a station. It's extremely important to make clear because you can't have staff everywhere, but let them know that customer is at a certain car position. Let's get them on the train safely. Because never know, a person with a disability has not been shown because they have, it's called a hidden disability. So I remind everyone that Disability Pride Month is a very important month, 35 years, what we've been advocating and getting things accomplished. Thank you, everyone. Happy ADA 35 Disability Pride Month. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker is Jason Anthony.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jason Anthony, the transit guru, on the Monday after his 39th birthday. It is good to see the accomplishments that Metro North and the Long Island Railroad have been doing these past few months. I want to highlight something that I've been seeing for myself at Jamaica, and there's receipts to prove them. I've been seeing homeless wandering around Jamaica, not because of Long Island Railroad's, let's say, bad actions, but by poor authorities, lack thereof, police presence. So we took some videos and pictures, and we alerted the proper authorities to take action. And newsflash to the media out there that they do little to lip service and take action about this. And yes, there is no homeless since the month of May. because we appreciate the Long Island Railroad staff at Jamaica and at my home station at Ladder Terminal, Brooklyn. And at Penn Station, and now Grand Central Madison. So, Rob, you could rest for sure that yours truly cares about your staff. And Justin, I don't forget about you as well. I appreciate your staff about the hard work that you guys are doing. Keep it up. And I'll see you guys next month.
Thank you for your remarks. We'll now go to our virtual speakers. Our first virtual speaker will be Charlton D'Souza.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can. Please begin your
Okay,
remarks.
yeah, good afternoon. My name is Charlton D'Souza. I'm the president of Passengers United. So we're getting a lot of complaints from people that the Hollis LIRR station, the fact that there are no overnight shuttle buses, you guys want people to take 2 local buses to get to Hollis from Jamaica overnight when the trains are not running there. That is ridiculous. And we deserve better. And, you know, overnight, it actually takes more time than it would take to get a bus and a subway. So it's a really long trip. I understand you guys are trying to do the Hollis project on the cheap, but there should be a bus, 1 bus, just to pick people up from Jamaica, take them to Hollis and Queens Village if possible. That's not fair to the commuters who are paying monthly and weekly tickets. And another thing that I want to say, we did read the report that was released by the New York State Comptroller on the situation with Grand Central Madison. The reason why Grand Central Madison doesn't have enough riders is because of the walking and the levels you got to go down. So why don't you guys offer discounts? Offer a weekly, you know, like a $40 or $50 weekly pass with a Metro card or Omni card, and that'll help people. If you can't provide the subway option, just have like a $30 pass. You know, for the week, a $30 pass, and that would help everyone out. And that would relieve all the overcrowding on the Queens Boulevard line. But I was very angry when I heard about that report. I don't think it's fair. Billions and billions were spent on the station, and nobody's using it. So that tells you everything you need to know. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker is Andy Pollock, followed by Adam Winenstein.
All right, take 2. Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Pollock here from Passengers United. So a couple of things we're going to touch up on for this month. At some point, Amtrak's issues that Rob Free had warned us about were going to come true for the summer. This morning, an Amtrak power problem in the East River Tunnel basically caused a major burden and an inconvenience for a lot of the passengers that were needing service to Penn Station. Some customers were heavily impacted by this morning, as some trains were either diverted to Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn or Grand Central Madison. So we'd like a full explanation from Amtrak on what exactly occurred this morning that led to this outage, and hopefully Rob will speak to Amtrak later today and maybe we'll get an answer from them. Okay, second thing I want to acknowledge is concrete tie repairs on the Port Washington branch. I'm glad the Long Island Railroad is taking it seriously, because over time, we know the concrete ties can get worn out. And I'm glad that this upcoming weekend, the railroad is not really going to make any significant change other than hourly service to Penn Station, despite the fact that the Mets are going to be playing the Houston Astros this weekend at Willets Point. And the last thing I want to acknowledge is the M9As. So the original plan for the M9As were supposed to come in 2027. However, with COVID delays and other issues with Kawasaki in Nebraska, it looks like as of now, we're not going to get these M9A trains until at least the earliest 2030. So I hope the MTA board will approve that plan, and hopefully they'll get it done on Wednesday at the full MTA board meeting. So with that, thank you for letting me speak this afternoon.
Thank you for your remarks. Our next speaker will be Adam Winenstein.
Good afternoon.
I'm calling because I'm deeply concerned about so many things with MTA and LIRR in terms of lack of safety, lack of communication. The first thing I wanted to mention is this policy the last year of trains waiting between stations for other trains to pass instead of holding in the prior station, particularly every morning at Woodside. The train will pull into Woodside with a red flashing signal. People will exit at Woodside. The train will crawl a few feet ahead, and there it will sit for, on a good day, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. On a bad day, or if something happens like today, worse than that. Um, um, why? So please consider holding trains in stations until the previous train, the train that's going in front of it, is at least somewhat close. There have also been trains holding for prolonged periods of time outside my apartment between Great Neck and Manhasset. Very unsafe. If someone's not feeling well, something happens, for a train to be between stations, especially when it's known that the train is going to be there for several minutes because the train that goes before it hasn't gotten to the area yet. In terms of communication, the MTA advertises a feedback page, contact.mta.info. Also, they advertise real-time chat. But these things are rarely provided. Rarely do I get an answer. On the feedback page, it often marked closed without any answer. Often during the day, there's no or very limited reply on the real-time chat. I'm very concerned. Hopefully someone will contact and assist me. Thank you. Thank you for your remarks. Our last speaker is Iris Kelly. Is Iris online? Our last speaker is not online, Chair. That concludes public comments.
Thank you. Before we proceed with the meeting, I would like to introduce and welcome Jimmy O'Donnell, the newest member of the committee. We look forward to your input and expertise in the conversations that we will have. I know that you're in good hands because you're seated next to the president of your fan club, David Mack. So we've heard nothing but good things. So good luck to you. Great, thank you. Okay, the key performance metrics report. They're in the book if you'd like to take a look at them. And now for the joint railroad administrative items, we will begin with the approval of the minutes of the May 28, 2025 minutes. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes or any corrections? It's moved. Do I have a second, David? All those in favor? Aye, thank you. The 2025 work plans, there are no changes. And again, the work plans for the railroads are in the book. So we will move on to the agency president's report. And this month, as I mentioned, Long Island Railroad is in the lead. So now we'll first hear from Rob. Please, Rob.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Ridership continues to explode at the Long Island Railroad. For the month of May, we had a little over 7 million customers for the month. That's only the second time we've done that since the pandemic. The last time was October of last year. Total ridership increased year over year 10%, and May versus May 9.4%. This represents 88.1% of 2019's ridership, the highest percentage we've made so far as it relates to 2019's ridership. Commutation ridership grew over last year 10.5%, and non-commutation about 8.7% over last year. Now, as it was mentioned about Grand Central Madison, and we often talk about the original projected split of 60-40, well, 2 times this month already, we achieved a 58-42 split between Penn Station and Grand Central Madison. So I think that's evidence of how our customers are embracing and really utilizing Grand Central Madison. And for the week of 6/9, we experienced our highest Monday through Friday weekday average ridership at 273,334 riders. So great numbers there, and that's Monday through Friday again. And last Wednesday, we had our highest single-day ridership post-pandemic of 287,437 riders for the day. So again, really great ridership numbers. For on-time performance, for May, we experienced a 96.7% total on-time performance for the month. It's our second highest on-time performance in recorded history, only second to May of 2020, so we'll put an asterisk next to that. Year-to-date on-time performance is 96.7% as well, so great on-time performance numbers. And just to touch on the Amtrak incident a little bit this morning, Amtrak had experienced a power problem in Line 3, which is one of the tunnels that we use. So initially, we had to put a block while they inspected the overhead catenary to determine if there was not a power issue in terms of a catenary wire hanging. But I can assure you this would have been much worse if it wasn't for the Long Island Railroad, the MTA, in addition to the governor of the state of New York, pushing on Amtrak and holding their feet to their fire to make sure that they're responding to these type of incidents and making sure they're cleared up and that they have proper personnel at the location. So again, as we've said before, thank you very much to the governor, and as I said before as well, that I will be unapologetic about continuing to hold Amtrak to their responsibilities to ensure Long Island Railroad service is not affected by this outage. For safety, we experienced a 30% reduction in customer injuries comparing April of last year to April of this year, and 11% reduction in employee injuries for the same time period. So great safety numbers there as well. So next I want to talk about one of our strategic priorities. As we are well into our summer production season, we'd like to update you on the tremendous progress we are making towards building a better railroad. Our goal is to get the most out of our work outages by scheduling as many work activities in an outage as possible, increase productivity, work efficiently, and minimize customer impact. We have made significant progress in these areas and will illustrate this by reviewing some recent projects. On the weekend of June 7th and 8th, we worked on the Port Washington branch for the Webster Avenue Bridge replacement in Manhasset. This outage included both project and state of good repair maintenance work occurring simultaneously. During this outage, we accomplished replacing one of the two tracks at Little Neck Parkway grade crossing, replaced over 470 linear feet of switch timber. Now, that's basically the same thing as railroad ties, but the reason we call it out is switch timber because at the switches, the railroad ties underneath switches are much longer and much more difficult to work with. They're harder, they're heavier, so it's a much more cumbersome operation there. So 470 linear feet is really a Herculean effort. We replaced over 300 feet of rail, 2 guardrails, 1 insulated joint, and 1 frog, which is basically a switch mechanism that allows you to cross over from one track to another. We also repaired a damaged culvert, eliminated 33 rail joints, installed switch heater cabling at 2 locations in Great Neck, and installed 2 communication poles, dug holes for future poles, and laid out poles to install for a later date. Now, how does this compare to the way we used to perform this work? Well, in the past, we would have needed 3 separate outages to perform this work. Production was maximized by piggybacking during this outage. Now, we've always piggybacked work, but now we make it a top priority for every single outage that we take. Typically, our maintenance crews replaced about 250 linear feet of rail in a given weekend versus 470 this outage, and welded approximately 24 to 28 joints in the same time frame versus 33 this outage. Truly remarkable. And to talk about another project, last year our track department began a multi-year effort to replace over 24 miles of rail. This is 70 to 100-year-old rail, I might add, between Brookhaven and Riverhead. In 2024, we replaced 39,663 linear feet of rail in 54 working days. In 2025, we replaced 61,423 linear feet of rail in 55 working days. That's a 54% increase in production. We also performed other maintenance activities, and this work was performed during a continuous daytime outages, making it much more efficient. So how did we do that? Well, after the 2024 work, we conducted a review of the program and instituted changes for 2025 to improve productivity. We use the winter months in between the production outages to strategically lay out material more efficiently in preparation for the spring outage. Adjusted manpower to maximize outage duration, performed enhanced maintenance on production machinery during the winter to increase equipment availability. We added extra equipment and adjusted their locations within the work zone and enhanced training on work machines for our employees. This effort takes a tremendous amount of planning and collaboration, not only between the various groups within the Long Island Railroad, but with our partners at C&D as well at times. As you can see, this effort provides a real benefit financially, operationally, and for our customers. I want to thank our entire team for their efforts in successfully implementing these programs, especially our engineering group and all the various disciplines. And I also want to note, if Chris is here, the construction and project gangs in track made sure to remind me how much work they performed. Thank you to all and great job. Well, Summer Saturdays discount program is back. On Saturdays in July and August, monthly ticket holders can travel and bring up to 2 friends or family members in July and August. This program provides a great value and an opportunity to see all the things that Long Island has to offer. So please visit our website and the Train Time app for details. I also wanted to update you on a fire we had at Grand Central Madison on the morning of June 10th. It was a transformer fire in one of our substations, which was located, what we'll say, just west of the station, but beyond the station on a yard lead track going down to the yard. It happened at the tail end of the AM rush hour. We immediately established an incident command post in Grand Central Terminal with our partners at Metro North and first responders as well. The FDNY responded originally and requested blocks on 2 of our tracks. They had to find the source of the smoke. At first, it was a little difficult to find exactly where it was coming from. So they continued their investigation and moved to another set of tracks to pin it down. So at that moment, we had to cancel service in and out of Grand Central Madison as we were losing so many tracks and to ensure safety. Train service was diverted to Penn Station and Penn Station and Atlantic Terminal, and as well as there were some cancellations. There were some evacuations which took place in the station, basically on the platform level, on the mezzanine level, and for a certain period of time up in the main concourse area. But at no time was there a significant smoke condition within those environments. The tunnel fans and the smoke extraction system worked as intended and did not present any immediate danger. The FDNY did a very good job trying to isolate the impact to our operations. As I mentioned, they just took a block on 2 of the tracks. Now, the layout of Grand Central Madison actually assisted greatly in this event, as there's 8 tracks in Grand Central Madison, and they really are in pairs, and they're in their own little tube. So when we had this one condition with the smoke, we were able to just isolate those 2 tracks, which again enables us to continue to operate service. So really, the physical layout of Grand Central Madison was very helpful in this type of situation. And thankfully, we were able to return train service after some repairs for the PM rush hour. One Long Island Railroad employee had experienced some smoke inhalation, was treated and released, and is doing fine. There was great coordination and response, and I'd like to thank the FDNY, and actually there was great communication as well within the incident command post. It really showed our processes worked as intended. It also shows how having Grand Central Madison and Penn Station provides our system great reliability, as customers were able to continue their journey into Manhattan without being diverted to another location or canceled even at Jamaica. They were able to still get into Manhattan. So another great benefit of Grand Central Madison. And while this was an unfortunate incident, it really was helpful in the sense that it helped us show our processes and all our protocols and planning and coordination with the FDNY. So it really, unfortunate, but a good situation, especially the particular situation that occurred. It wasn't significant in the station environment. We will be conducting a lessons learned and after-action review with the other agencies as well to look at, our best practices, see what could have gone better, or what are things that we could institute in other type of situations and everything. So again, I think unfortunate incident, but it couldn't have gone better than it did. So, and lastly, I want to end my remarks this month by bidding a fond farewell to our very own Vice President of Corporate Safety, Lori Ebbinghausen, who's retiring after 25 years of amazing service to the Long Island Railroad. Lori's passion for her work and her steady leadership helped fuel the creation of a new, elevated culture of safety among our workforce and customers. Her delivery of innovative ways to keep our entire system safe has helped advance the goals and mission of the Long Island Railroad and foster a new generation of like-minded leaders. I want to sincerely thank you, Lori, for your unwavering commitment to safety, and best of luck to you and your family for a happy and healthy retirement. And that concludes my report, and I'll answer any questions anyone may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, congratulations, Lori, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck. Enjoy your retirement. Any questions for the president? You're getting off easy this week. Okay, good. Justin, now you're in the hot seat.
All right, thank
President of Metro North Railroad.
you, Metro North. All right, June is always my favorite committee because it gives me an opportunity to wish Jason Anthony a happy birthday, as well as my daughter Charlie, so it's a great month for me. So before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to Brian Pena, our new Vice President of System Safety. Brian brings a unique combination of hands-on experience, strategic insight, and a deep commitment to safety. His background includes time as a freight conductor and work at NASA, perspectives that have helped inform his thoughtful, innovative approach to safety. Over the past 2 years at Metro North, Brian has played a key role in developing the confidential close call reporting system and has led or supported numerous initiatives, both large and small. I'm confident the committee will quickly see why we've selected Brian for this critical role. I would also like to thank Brian O'Donnell for leading the department through this transition. His steady leadership and dedication have ensured the department continue to operate at a high level, and we are grateful for his contributions. So welcome, Brian. All right, moving on to service delivery. Service continues to remain strong. May and year-to-date on-time performance continue to remain above 98%. Strong service reliability and a return to office is yielding record-breaking ridership. Over the past 6 weeks, we have been setting post-pandemic records across the board. We've seen our highest Tuesday, our highest Thursday, our highest Friday. We've seen our highest month, which was May, and our highest single day, which was almost 90% of pre-pandemic ridership. So riders are definitely returning. Service is great, and our customers are recognizing it. There has never been a better time to ride Metro North. So this month, I'll be introducing Metro North One, our new strategic vision. In my first 90 days as president, my team and I have focused on developing a strategy to sustain Metro North's exceptional, safe, and reliable service while continuing to strive for excellence as we approach our 50th anniversary in 2033. Today, I'm excited to share our new strategic vision, Metro North One, one team, one culture, one service. The mission remains the same, to provide safe, reliable, and efficient regional mobility and excellent service to our customers. What is updated under Metro North One is our vision. We are committed to growing with purpose through safe and reliable service, strategic investment, and a workforce that is supported and ready. We are one at the MTA, and Metro North One builds off that. It ensures we do our part in advancing our broader MTA goals. It improves how we connect with other MTA services and aligns our vision with our overall MTA strategies. By focusing on the shared experience of customers who rely on the MTA, we'll make travel across the system easier with consistent information, better integration, and a frontline staff who are ready to help. Ultimately, it's about doing our part in a coordinated, efficient, and customer-focused way as one MTA. Metro North One is our strategic plan that will carry us to 2033, our 50th anniversary, our journey we are calling our Road to Gold. We are focused on adapting to a changing region by strengthening our infrastructure, expanding access for all, and preparing the railroad for the next generation of employees, customers, and the communities we serve. That is the promise of Metro North One's 6 pillars. Through the fundamentals of operational excellence, Metro North One is built on 6 unshakable pillars: safety, customer experience, employee engagement, fiscal responsibility, resiliency and sustainability, and innovation. These pillars are the lens through which we will lead the railroad, guide our decisions, and break down silos. It's about making sure every part of the organization is aligned around these core priorities. The first pillar is safety. Safety is paramount at Metro North, and it is the first promise we make to our employees, customers, and the communities that we serve. Metro North One gives us the structure to make good on that promise and create clear accountability throughout the organization. Ongoing open communication is a fundamental element of safety, and we've recently launched various initiatives to help us achieve this. Safety focus days that bring leadership into the field and make space for honest, direct conversations. We've rebuilt our safety committees into real working teams, labor and management solving issues together. We're using every opportunity to identify and mitigate risks. We've strengthened our employee safety programs like C3RS, so we understand each incident and have the ability to come up with meaningful corrective actions. Metro North One is a full commitment to safety above all else. A safe operation is a well-run operation. We're also hyper-focused on the customer experience. And we are seeing the results through our customer surveys, as we have consistently seen results in the mid to high 80s since spring of '22. Our purpose is much greater than just moving trains. Public transportation is the great equalizer. It provides opportunities to people that otherwise wouldn't have them in many cases. We're changing our language to remind ourselves that what we do is more about moving people and creating opportunities than really moving trains. Changing that mindset is key to enhancing the customer experience. Some good background music to that. From responsive station restroom cleanup to information access with tools like Train Time, we're making sure every asset meets our highest standards and the information we provide is clear, accurate, and in the customer's hands to the highest standards. We're improving travel times throughout the system. We started on the New Haven line, are moving on to travel from Poughkeepsie now, as it is one of the governor's key initiatives. Regional mobility is an important aspect of this. Our riders are connecting with the subway in Long Island like they have never in the past. They're heading to JFK, Citi Field, or work in all 5 boroughs. The MTA is improving travel throughout the region and creating true regional mobility. Metro North is an important part of that. Our employees are our greatest resource, and their engagement is our responsibility. At all levels and across all departments, we're deepening connection, developing leadership, and recognizing achievement. At Metro North, leadership means understanding the work being done. One way we are doing this is through our Be the One program, which puts senior leadership on the front lines to work a shift alongside our frontline employees. Understanding how decisions are made that will impact our workforce is imperative. Last year, we implemented employee engagement days, where we cancel all meetings and managers head into the field to engage, not audit. This year, we increased it to 2 days per month. Engagement also means collaboration and empowered problem solving as one team. To achieve this, we recently implemented our quarterly labor management committee to ensure we are focused on solutions, bringing everyone at Metro North together towards one goal, excellence. The slogan of these meetings is, "Together we achieve more," and I don't think there was a more accurate statement. Our road to gold requires strong leadership at all levels. We're building that strength with leadership development opportunities like the Next Leadership Team, or as we call it, NXT, a new peer group of high-performing emerging leaders who are building networks and skills together. We also have our Operations Management Development Program that continues to equip future frontline and mid-level leaders with the tools they need to succeed. And when someone leads, performs, or improves, we recognize them, visibly and repeatedly, because culture follows what you celebrate. This is how we build a workforce that's informed, respected, and empowered. Fiscal responsibility is all of our responsibility. Working efficiently and productively is key to managing our budget. With initiatives like Standard Work, we are changing how we do business, working more efficiently and creating standards for the workforce. Overtime management is also a key component of this. So far this year, we have reduced the number of overtime hours by nearly 25%. We aren't doing less work, we're doing it more efficiently. We're also at the beginning of the largest capital program in Metro North's history, almost $8 billion over the next 5 years. We need to do our part to ensure better, faster, cheaper. Resiliency and sustainability are about how we protect our service, our infrastructure, and the communities that we serve. It means preparing now so we stay ahead of what's to come. On the Hudson Line, we are raising track, cleaning and replacing culverts, and reinforcing critical infrastructure to meet the rising risks of climate change head-on. We're also transforming our fleet with new dual-mode and battery-powered locomotives to reduce emissions, improve fuel efficiency, and meet our future needs with cleaner, more reliable technology. This is what sustainability looks like at a railroad. Fewer disruptions, smarter maintenance, cleaner operations, and a long-term planning built into everything that we do. Innovation isn't just a buzzword, it's how we plan for the future at Metro-North, improving what we do without losing sight of what already works. We adopt new, effective technology to help solve problems, providing smarter training, more accurate forecasting, and better service for our customers. We're building an artificial intelligence roadmap, integrating AI into planning, maintenance, training, and system monitoring in a way that supports the railroad, not complicates it. Innovation will enhance our work in every pillar from safety to fiscal responsibility. With tools like virtual reality training, we are changing how we do business. We are safely and efficiently giving employees real-world scenarios to learn from. From roadway worker protection to customer de-escalation, we're raising the bar about what training can look like. Passenger data is getting smarter too. With automated passenger counting and scheduled performance tools, we're matching real-time ridership patterns to train frequency and resource planning. But Metro-North One isn't just a plan. This is about progress and about accountability. As we travel down our road to gold, we will continually monitor and refine, adjusting where necessary and celebrating our progress. To that, we're aligning every level of leadership and every Metro-North One initiative with our strategic priorities and translating each priority into actionable goals with measurable outcomes for frontline teams. We're making our performance tracking and cross-functional accountability transparent through a centralized platform called the Metro-North One Hub. This ensures shared ownership and consistent direction across the organization. Metro-North One, built on the 6 pillars and rooted in the fundamentals of operational excellence, provides clear next steps to support our ongoing work to serve the region. I will periodically update this committee on our progress along the way, so this won't be the last time you hear about Metro-North One. But before I close, I'd like to show you a brief video on Metro-North One.
For over a century, this railroad has powered the city that never sleeps. No spotlight, no applause. Just steel, grit, and a job that never gets easier. Every day is another step forward, fueled by the legacy of those who came before us. Our journey began in 1831, when horses pulled the coaches of New York City's first railroad. Through wars, storms, and pandemics, we've continued to move forward, train by train, mile by mile. Today, we carry millions of people every year, and no one hands us that responsibility. We earn it every shift, every single day. Now, a new chapter begins. Metro-North One. It's our bold vision built on 6 unshakable pillars: safety, customer experience, employee engagement, fiscal responsibility, resiliency and sustainability, innovation. No matter what line you run, what title you wear, or how long you've been here, this is bigger than any one of us. This is about mission, about excellence in motion, about always pushing forward. Because we're not here to just maintain. We're here to build, to push, to lead. In 2033, we will hit our golden anniversary, and we won't just celebrate the past. We'll prove we've made it better. We are one. The road to gold starts now.
I know you want to clap, right? Every time I watch that video, I get goosebumps. The team did an amazing job. So this video, like everything else done with Metro North 1, was all done in-house by the team. So amazing job. Thank you to everybody who worked on it, but a special thanks to Brian Pena, Maureen Taylor, Emily Moser, John Kaufman, and everybody else. And a very special thanks to Jenny Brown, who was the voiceover in the video, who did an amazing job. So with that, Lori, congratulations. Wish you nothing but the best. That's it.
Thank you, Justin, and that's a great program, and thank you for the wonderful video as well. Does anyone have questions or comments for Justin? Yes. Neil?
Thank you, sir. Justin, I'm a fan, obviously, of things that touch the heartstrings. I've been commuting for 21 years in Metro North. I used it when I was in high school to come into the city when I grew up in New Rochelle to go gallivant around the city. I used it to get home sometimes from West Point. I would go down from Garrison and then back up to New Rochelle. Who knew I would be living there? So it's been a part of my life for a long time. And it's been a part of your life for a while, too. So could you just help us, because I certainly support the spirit of what's in this video. What is different about this strategic plan versus whatever you inherited? And you were obviously part of Kathy's leadership team for some time. Like, how do we think about the difference about where you're taking it versus where she was going? Because the slogan is one thing, but I'd like to just hear like a click or two underneath that, please.
Sure. I don't think we're going in different places, right? I think it's just build off what we've done in the past, right? That's really what it's about. It's really about that old railroad pride with the new railroad culture, right? The culture is changing within the industry, within society. So it's really about coming up with a program that mirrors that. I think an important piece of this is really changing about how we think about our business, right? We're typically looking at trains, how many trains we're late, but to us, it's really about there's people on those trains. We're moving people. Trains is really just how we do that. And I think changing that mindset really changes about how we focus on the business. And then a huge part of this is employee engagement. We have tremendous employees, and it's our responsibility to make sure those employees are engaged. So I would just add that.
Thank you, Neil. Anyone else? Ed?
Yeah, just a comment. In particular, you mentioned employee engagement. One of the components to this is the Be the One initiative. From a labor perspective, I'm just very supportive of the initiative. Also, my members really appreciated it too. Just a brief highlight of it was involved the Chief Transportation Officer, and eventually the whole executive leadership team will work in certain craft positions, but in particular for the conductor craft, the Chief Transportation Officer, the Vice President of the Capital Program, went out, put on the conductor uniform, and mirrored the workers, mirrored my members. They started off in the reporting location. They talked to the crews as they came in and out. They, watched the reverse move with them all in the conductor uniform, mirrored the conductor as they were collecting tickets, engaged with the assistant conductor. That's relationship building at its finest, right? So while that was important, I think it's a crucial and critical part of the program. What was equally important, and maybe a little bit more important, was tangible outcomes from that in terms of a policy change that was implemented shortly after that I believe is helpful for the craft. Also, a possible outcome was they also visited the GCT crew facilities, the lounges, the restroom facility, going to provide enhancements to those facilities, possible expansion. So very happy to see that from a Metro North labor perspective. Also, I think as this program continues to move forward, it'll strengthen the relationship between labor and management.
Great. Thank you, Ed. Any other comments, questions? All right. Thank you, Justin. Okay, now we will move on to the operations reports. We will start with Paul. Can you give us the Long Island Railroad operations report?
Good morning and thank you. Or good afternoon, I'm sorry. So total on-time performance for the month of May was 96.7%, above our goal of 94%. And similarly, year-to-date as of May was also 96.7%, above 94%. For the month of May, 11 branches operated at or above goal, and year-to-date as of May, 12 branches that operated at or above goal. For major events which resulted in 10 or more delays, there were 11 incidents in the month of May. The most significant event occurred on May 22nd when there was a trespasser strike in Amityville. This event resulted in 58 delays, negatively impacting on-time performance by 0.2%. For our fleet performance, the MDBF for the month of April was 218,043 miles above the goal of 150,000 miles. And for service delivery, we completed 99.6% of our trips for both the month of May and May year to date. For the upcoming work that will impact service, on the weekend of June 28th and 29th, one of two main tracks will be taken out of service between Metz Willets Point and Great Neck while we install new concrete ties and perform track surfacing at our bay interlocking. Service on the Port Washington branch will be reduced to hourly for approximately 48 hours. Port Washington customers bound for Grand Central would transfer at Woodside. On the weekends of July 26th and 27th and August 2nd and 3rd, all tracks will be taken out of service between Jamaica and Atlantic Terminal while we perform switch replacement work at East New York in order to maintain this portion of our system in a state of good repair. New York City Transit will provide cross-honoring. Please check the website and train time app for updated schedules, and that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Yes, Jerry.
Yes, you mentioned the upcoming weekend work that the Port Washington branch riders would have to transfer at Woodside if they wanted to go to Grand Central Madison. Do you have any flexibility in your schedule? Because I had a complaint from a Port Washington rider who wants to go in this weekend, and he said that with hourly service, he misses by 3 minutes. So and he said that's consistent. So any of the Port Washington riders would have to hang out in Woodside for 57 minutes. That seems a little excessive. I mean, is there, on the weekend, I know on the weekdays you don't have that kind of flexibility to hold a train for 3 minutes in Woodside, but would you have that over the weekend, or is there something you can do to eliminate a 57-minute gap, particularly in the summer with this heat?
I think the service windows are pretty tight as well on the weekend due to the fact that it's a double block outage. There's some cross-honoring available, or we can have people transfer at Woodside. We can look at that. Yes, we will definitely do some better communication. And Penn Station is, on the weekends, the predominant stream of traffic goes to Penn Station.
Is there just anything you can do to eliminate that 57-minute gap, or communicate better ways to get into the city? I'd appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
Jerry, we'll take a look. We could talk afterwards, just to understand if we're talking east or westbound, and then if adding stops to other mainline trains might help with that. So that's something we could talk about. Right. Yeah, but if we could get us more information, it'll be helpful. Well, like afterwards, we'll grab you and see.
Thank you, Jerry. Any other questions for Paul? Okay, now we'll move over to Evan for the Metro North Operations Report.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. The operations report begins on page 24. In May, our service delivery rate reached 99.9%. Metro North's system-wide on-time performance exceeded our 94% target, achieving 98.4% for the month and year-to-date. The fleet's mean distance between failures for April was 261,888 miles, surpassing our goal of 200,000 miles. Year-to-date, the MDBF stands at 307,358 miles. Before we look ahead, I'd like to briefly address the catenary incident that occurred on June 5th along the New Haven line. This incident involved the failure of the overhead catenary system, resulting in down wires across all 4 tracks. As a result, 3 trains carrying customers were halted between stations. We were able to move 1 train under its own power. However, we had to conduct a train-to-train rescue for the remaining 2 trains. This event significantly impacted our operational performance for the day, resulting in 31 late trains, 4 cancellations, and 32 terminations. Despite the challenges, and while maintaining our regular weekend schedule, teams worked tirelessly around the clock from Thursday evening through Sunday to ensure that full service was restored in time for the Monday morning commute. Their commitment exemplifies the professionalism and resilience that define our workforce. As we look ahead, I want to provide a few service updates. Since January of this year, ferry service between Newburgh and Beacon has been suspended and replaced by bus service due to critical dock infrastructure damage. While the initial suspension was triggered by typical winter river icing, subsequent assessments revealed significant damage requiring long-term solutions. Following a comprehensive review of the program's usage and cost, it's been determined that the ferry will not return to service. The current bus replacement service will continue through the end of 2025. At that time, in coordination with the New York State Department of Transportation, the Newburgh Beacon shuttle bus will become free of charge for passengers connecting to the train. In addition, we are working with NYSDOT to expand the shuttle's frequency and geographic coverage. Unfortunately, ridership on the Northern Ferry had been steadily declining even prior to COVID-19. By 2024, usage had dropped to just 27% of its peak, with further declines observed throughout the year. Looking ahead, both cities are exploring opportunities to repurpose the ferry's infrastructure. The city of Beacon is actively developing plans to activate its dock area for tourism, while the city of Newburgh is preparing to do the same with the opening of its new waterfront in 2027. Next week, on Thursday, July 3rd, Metro North will operate a Friday schedule with additional early getaway service, making it easier for customers to begin their holiday weekend. And on July 4th, service will operate on a Sunday schedule in observance of the holiday. In parallel with our summer operations, we are launching several critical infrastructure initiatives. Beginning in July, Metro North and C&D will begin the platform replacement and ADA enhancement work at Woodlawn, Williams Bridge, and Botanical Garden stations. The installation of temporary platforms will begin on July 19th on the Track 4 side. On the Upper Hudson Line, our structures team will perform culvert renewals over 2 weekends in July, with modified service in place to ensure safe and efficient operations. These projects are part of our ongoing efforts to maintain and enhance the safety, reliability, and longevity of the system. That concludes my report. Thank you for your continued support. I look forward to our continued collaboration as we work to deliver the high-quality service our Metro North customers expect and deserve. And I just want to say congratulations to Lori on your retirement. Congratulations. And at this time, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions? Yes, Jarrett?
Thank
Jimmy?
you. So you mentioned the stoppage of the ferry, right? Not going to be reinstituted.
Correct.
And you mentioned the bus service. You said your starting date for free service is when?
That will start next year, 2026.
Okay, so why not now?
We can take a look at it. That's,
Let us take a look at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Neil?
Sorry I jumped in at the end of the tail end of your news, which is meaningful news because I think I shared with Kathy maybe, it was almost a year ago, that the leadership team of DIA in Beacon, which is ostensibly the most important museum north of New York City, was asking actually for an increased volume because they saw so much valuable traffic, at least anecdotally from what they told me. So could you just, you mentioned a percentage, can you just give me the absolute numbers of that traffic that was going on the ferry? Because it is counterintuitive to me that at the same time you've mentioned that both Newburgh and Beacon are enhancing their waterfront, that we are finding that use of the waterfront is not valuable. It just doesn't make sense to me that one municipality is like, this is a great asset, and if you haven't been up to Newburgh, it's actually shockingly nice what they've done down there. And Beacon, of course, is like a TOD dream of what's happened because it was once a moribund northern empty area, mostly anchored by, not to be an advocate for Dutchess County, but in the absence of Michael Fleischer, I'll just say like Beacon was nothing, moribund town, and then when DIA took over the old Nabisco box factory, it created an extraordinary resurgence not only of what I would describe as a gentrified and Tony little community, but an easy one to get to. So I'm just surprised, I guess I'll say that. So could you provide a little bit on the quantity? Can we quantify it first? I'd like to hear the numbers, then you can give me the government spin in a second.
Oh, I have some of the numbers off the top of my head for you, so I can give you that. Last year, we were averaging, over the course of the year, 62 riders per day on the ferry. That's down from well over 200 in 2008 when it was at its peak. It was near 225, approaching 250 when it was peaking. It took a tumble after 2008 and was in the decline straight through to 2019. With one year, it went up an average of 2 riders a day, but besides that, it was in steady decline the entire time. Over last year, we had started to see some recovery. Actually, when the summer ended, our numbers did not reach the fall numbers from the year before. So the numbers continue to decline, and it looked like we're losing ridership, which is not what we want to see. And then what happened with the ferry, we kind of weighed everything and trying to determine what was the best approach there.
Could you provide this? I'd be interested to hear that more of a slightly more de-averaged voice or view on it, like the summer numbers. I would imagine you have pretty different numbers by the summer versus the dead of winter. Do you have those handy?
We do see a peak in the summer. It usually doubles about in the summer, but it's still, even last year,
So 120 some odd.
Correct.
Okay.
And what we noticed also is, even with that, we don't see a drop in ridership on the train correlating to the drop in ridership on the ferry. So those people are still using the train. They're just choosing to get there a different way. From within, actually a couple blocks of the ferry, there's already a bus that picks up. So our service is very much repetitive, and there's actually 2 bus services that run from Newburgh to Beacon, one run by NYSTOD and one run by the county. NYSTOD is very much interested in trying to make sure that those are synergists, those services complement each other, not just are there to work independently. So they're working on that. We want to help make sure that they're doing that and help drive people to connecting services that way. It's kind of, when we look up a little further north to Ulster, they moved to a free bus service, and they actually have higher ridership now than they did pre-COVID on their connecting service. So seeing what's happened with some of the connecting services and what's recovered elsewhere compared to whatever reason this ferry has just not become
Understood.
the appeal that it had.
Two more questions. So one, what's been the reception by the 2 cities' governments to this, City of Newburgh, City of Beacon? What's been their viewpoint on this change? Were they beside themselves, or were they like, yeah, okay, we get it? Like, what's been the response so far?
Beacon was very much, yeah, okay, we get it. We wish we knew this earlier so we could have re-RFP'd the dock so we could activate it for tourism. They were actually happy that they view it as a tourism opportunity, but unfortunately our product does not work for tourism.
Understood.
And being able to control their dock, which we're technically leasing from them now, and actually be able to activate them, they view as an opportunity. So I think they're looking towards that. Newburgh understood the decision. I think they also understand that there's challenges with everything going on there right now. We're at a temporary dock on the Newburgh side. They're in the middle of redeveloping and working on a new waterfront that they're hoping that dock will open in 2027. When that dock opened, it's moving to a location where there wouldn't be commuter parking. So we had always been having this conversation, what happens when you move there? How can we actually continue to run the service? They want us to reevaluate that in 2027. They also want to see what's going on with tourism when they have this new waterfront. But they understood that right now it wasn't something that was working appropriately.
And then last question, what was the total cost of operating this service, like on an annual basis?
On an annual basis, it was over about $2.1 million.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, team, for your reports on the operations. Now we move on to the safety reports. For her grand farewell, Lori, we'll start with you, Long Island Railroad.
Thank you very much, Chair Hurst. So as Rob mentioned, we're reporting on our safety report performance through April of 2025, which can be found on page 16 in your book. And he touched on the positive trends in both of customer accident rates as well as FRA reportable employee lost time rates. June was national, or is National Safety Month, so I just wanted to highlight some of the events that we sponsored in June. First, I'll start off on June 5th. We did International Level Crossing Awareness Day. To support safety in the communities that we serve. We were at a total of 5 stations and engaged with close to 2,000 customers, supported by the MTA Police, New York State Department of Transportation, Public Transportation Safety Board, and the Federal Railroad Administration. Next on the list, as folks are aware on Long Island, the majority of the emergency responder community is volunteer. So on June 8th, we were fortunate to partner with New York and Atlantic, supported by Marlon Taylor, their president, to do a drill simulating a freight train and a vehicle strike. With future look at Yaphank Station, we were very fortunate to be joined by a lot of new partners during this drill, including Yaphank Fire Department, Brookhaven Fire Department, Coram Fire Department, Gordon Heights Fire Department, Middle Island, Ridge, Medford, Mastic, Shirley Ambulance, Brookhaven National Labs Fire Department joined us, as well as the Brookhaven Town Fire Marshal. So we had a very good experience and really focused on communication and how we can collaboratively work to respond to events. So shifting from the emergency responder community, June 9th, we had our Safety Focus Day, where we highlighted for our employees seasonal information, our fantastic partnership during the confidential close call reporting with our labor partners, and focusing on behaviors to help them to make good decisions in the field. We also recognized, in partnership with our labor leaders and management leaders on June 13th, we had our annual Employee Safety Incentive Awards, where we recognized 16 employees who went above and beyond the call of duty, rendering life-saving medical aid to colleagues and customers, putting out fires, responding to an incident of a car driving on the tracks. So that was for our employees. And finally, wrapping up with our tracks program, we were joined by MTA Police at Jamaica Station on June 18th for a Customer Safety Awareness Day. Jamaica is a hub of activity, for lack of a better word, where we do have a lot of challenges with folks and want to make sure that we're supporting their safety. So very well-rounded itinerary of events in June for National Safety Month. Happy to answer any questions. And before I sign off, I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing your expertise, providing support, and really focusing on safety for all these years. Your passion is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions for Lori? Okay, thank you again. We move on to Brian for the Metro North report.
All right, good afternoon. Just quickly want to say I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve as Vice President of System Safety at Metro North Railroad. I ride this railroad every day from Southeast. My family rides this railroad. Building and supporting a strong safety culture is not abstract to me. It's real and it matters. I also want to thank Brian O'Donnell for his steady leadership as acting VP. He helped guide the department through the transition, and he's an outstanding teammate. Lori, I also want to congratulate you, and I hope that in my career as VP of System Safety, I can hopefully get match, or at least match, because you did a heck of a job. So thank you. Moving on, you can find the Metro North Railroad Safety Report on page 30 of the committee book, and here's where we currently stand. The reportable customer injury rate decreased from 1.91 to 1.57 per million customers, covering the 12 months from May 2024 through April 2025. The reportable employee lost time injury rate decreased from 1.81 to 1.61 per 200,000 working hours, comparing that to the same 12-month period prior. On June 5th, Metro North did also marked an International Level Crossing Awareness Day and outreach at 9 grade crossings across New York and Connecticut. That included locations on the Harlem, Hudson, and New Haven line, as well as our west of Hudson. The event was led by the Office of System Safety with the support of the MTA Police Department, Connecticut DOT, Connecticut Operation Lifesaver. And the goal was to educate motorists and pedestrians on key safety practices at railroad crossings. Our team actually interacted with over 3,700 passengers and pedestrians in those locations. And while we're on the topic of grade crossings, tomorrow, June 24th, is ENS Awareness Day. At every road crossing in the United States, you're going to see those big blue emergency notification signs. It lists the phone number and the location of the ID of that crossing. If there's ever an emergency, that's how the public can contact the railroad directly. That concludes my remarks, and I will have you to take any questions.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to the MTA police report.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chief Ramsey, filling in for Chief Thomas Taffy. I'm here to present the crime and policing report for the MTA Police Department, focusing on the Long Island Railroad and Metro North Railroad. First, I just want to start by touching on recent global developments that have us at an elevated threat posture, and just let us know that we are at a heightened alert. Even though there are no credible threats to our system or New York City, we are still actively increasing our police visibility and patrols, our detection and screening operations, and also we have detectives embedded in the Joint Terrorism Task Force. And as soon as we get any kind of credible information, as we always do with the protests, we'll be in contact with our partners here. And while I touch on that, I just want to say thank you for everybody here that has been involved in our recent protest activities, and everything we ask for, we get. So I just want to thank you, the presidents and board members and everybody here that is definitely involved in that. Looking at the major crime across the rail system remains low, with 24 reported incidents in May of 2025, down 23% from May 2024. So that's 24 versus 31 crimes that we had last year. Crime remains to be down 21% year-to-date as well. Of those 24 reported incidents, only 12 involved commuters, with most of the cases related to unattended property theft. The remaining incidents involve vendors, MTA and its employees, including an assault on 5 police officers and 1 conductor. We continue to enhance support for train conductors by increasing on-train patrols and deploying officers to key stations. In May, our officers conducted over 4,600 train patrols, with nearly 17,000 train patrolled this year. The MTA Police Department remains committed to strengthening our efforts to support the MTA commuter rail agencies with continued enforcement against fare evasion and quality of life issues. This concludes my report. Thank you, guys, and we are your police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Ramsey. Are there any questions for the chief? Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Long Island Railroad information items. Rob, can you please take us through those items?
The track work program for the upcoming months is in the book in a little more detail, and some other programs that Paula touched on in the first quarter. Diversity EO report is in there as well.
Thank you. Now, Justin, can you take us through the Metro North Railroad, Metro North 1, do we have to call you now?
Still Metro North for now. So diversity and EEO reports in the book.
Thank you. Okay, agency finance reports. The finance reports are also, for the railroads, are in the book. Now, for procurements, there is one procurement for the Long Island Railroad this month. Larry, can you take us through this?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Long Island Railroad package includes one item this month. The item is a request for the board to formally ratify the Declaration of Immediate Operating Need, ION, to award a contract to replace the audiovisual recording and monitoring system, AVRM, on 1,087 rail cars operated by Long Island Railroad. In October of 2023, the Federal Railroad Administration, the FRA, issued an unfunded mandate with new requirements for AVRM systems used on commuter rail passenger service. The FRA regulation required that all lead locomotives and any rail car that could be used in a forward-facing position be equipped with cameras that were forward-facing and cameras mounted in the cab that sent video to a crash-hardened memory device. The regulation required that all affected cars be so equipped by October 2027. Long Island Railroad's existing AVR system needs to be replaced to be compliant with that regulation. A request for a proposal, RFP, was issued, and a LIRR selection committee of subject matter experts reviewed technical proposals from 3 finalists. The selection committee unanimously approved Gatekeeper System USA as the most technically qualified. At a total cost of $22.9 million, Gatekeeper was also the lowest cost solution. The ION was declared to accelerate the project due to the time-sensitive nature of the compliance deadline. I respectfully submit this procurement for board approval.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for Larry? Yes. Blanca.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Sorry.
I saw on the attachment that in order to pay for this, it's a mix of capital and operating funds. I just wanted to know what the ratio or what the amount would be from both.
I can answer that.
Thank you.
So it's roughly 22.4 million in CapEx and 500,000 in OpEx. Okay.
Any other questions? Well, this is a mandate, so we don't have much of a choice. So therefore, I move to approve this for procurement. We have a second. Second by David Mack. Any other further discussion? All in favor? Signify aye. Thank you. It is approved. Now I have the biggest motion of the day. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by my vice chair, Blanca, seconded by Sammy. Thank you.